Virginia, and we're here today to introduce you to two brothers, Matt and Jacob Keffer. I am their real estate agent. My name is Birgit Deladati, and I work for Southern Virginia Properties. My broker, Elif, and I help both of these brothers to find a home. And I just wanted to share with you that buying a home is not an easy thing to do. It's not like those shows where you see 3 homes, nice little offer, and then the realtor gives you the key and everybody lives happily ever after. It's not like that. And we have gone through some stressful closings and stressful processes because of the real estate market, the way it is now, and also the foreclosures that are on the market. So if you are a first-time buyer, you really need to be prepared for some nightmares. And we've seen our share of those. So I just wanted to ask a few questions from Matthew and Jacob and have them tell you about their process of buying a house. And who was the first one that started looking? Was it you, Jacob?
I think that I saw the first house, but we both took off around the same point. So.
And you guys, they worked together. So they were looking at real estate magazines together at work, and when they had their breaks, and looking at houses. And now, what was the first house you saw?
The first house I saw was a little brick ranch on Green Hill Drive in Vicksboro, and immediately seeing it, I loved the area it was in. It was really secluded, and it was had a few updates on it and stuff. I think that's what triggered me to really want to get out of the house at that point.
Oh yes, because you had a sister. I sold the house to their sister a year prior, and we went through some hardships with that process too, but they're happily in their house now. But once sister got out of the house, do you feel like it was time to go?
Yes.
So it got crowded in the house.
One bird jumped out and missed the rest of it.
So you were ready to move out?
Yeah.
Well, what we need to talk about is some of the stresses that you went through your buying process. And Matt, let's share about the time when we put an offer on the house in Collinsville, and they just kept us waiting and waiting and waiting. What are your thoughts about that?
I didn't like all the waiting.
Oh.
We waited about 3 months.
Yeah.
And then finally got tired of it and moved on, so looking at some homes. I think about the same time that they finally got the deed and everything, or the title and everything finalized. This house here got finalized around the same time, so I had to make a decision between the two, and I'm glad I just waited.
Yeah. Well, and it was difficult too when you wait and all of a sudden they say now they have the deed and now you have picked out another house. It's kind of frustrating. It's like, what do I do? And I'm sure you had those sleepless nights when you have to think about it and make a decision.
It was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Just all the waiting. I'm not the most patient person in the world, but it was worth it.
That's true, yes, in the end it's worth it. Well, let's talk about your process too. When you picked the house and they kept you waiting and waiting and waiting because the deeds were not recorded, the paperwork was not even finalized. The houses are on the market, but the paperwork is not finalized, and then people make offers and you can't even buy the house because it's not ready for sale yet. So I don't know how in the world did banks get away with this, but this is what we were dealing with, right?
Yeah, the house on Green Hill Drive, they had it up for sale, and I put an offer in on it, and didn't hear anything back. And weeks went by, and finally months went by, and we found out that the deed wasn't reconstructed as a foreclosure deed. So as soon as they got done with that, I think it was 2 or 3 days later, somebody else actually bought the house, and I was pretty dead set on that house. I really thought that I was going to get it, and I was getting comfortable with having it. And finally, Elif was showing me, a few other houses, and she had my taste down right, but the area was either too rough or, it was something just majorly wrong with the house. I know one house I went into had exposed plumbing on the outside of the walls.
Wow.
I finally, got a hold of the house that I have, and I was actually ready to give up. I've always said I didn't want to rent, that I was going to buy a house. I didn't want to throw my money away like that. But I finally, found this house, and it worked for me. So in the long run, it was worth the wait.
Good, good. And we know, Matt, with your house, we bought this house, you have no appliances.
I'm slowly getting it.
So well, as long as you're a bachelor, I think you can get by with these little mini refrigerators,
Yes,
right? That I see in your kitchen. But eventually you want to buy appliances too. So that's something that a home buyer needs to be prepared for. That when you're buying a house, if you don't have any appliances, you're going to have the money for it. And let's talk about, you were all organized with your deposits and everything, so that went smoothly for you, right? So you had a deposit for your sewer and your water and your electricity and all that. Were you prepared for that?
As soon as we started looking for houses, I think both of us got a lot tighter with our money, and it slowly started, stacking up. And as soon as we bought a house, you're right, like all the deposits for your electrical or for your sewage and drainage. And on top of that, you have to have your escrow, and then you have to have your appraisal fees. And so it adds up to a couple of thousand at least. So you have to have some setback.
So home buying is not a picnic. If you don't have thick skin and a lot of patience, you might be very frustrated, and you might get mad at yourself or your real estate agent or the seller. So you need to have a lot of patience. You need to have some money saved up for your deposits and things. But definitely be prepared, because it's not going to be a picnic. So hopefully you pick us to do your show, and we're looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Bye-bye.